Welcome to the 2014 MAAC Basketball Championship presented by Pepsi Max. At the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts, our second men's quarterfinal pits the 5th-seeded Siena Saints against the 4th-seeded Canisius Golden Griffins. And the winner of this ball game will advance to take on the top-seeded Iona Gales in tomorrow's first semifinal. Iona has taken care of Ryder already here today, 94-71. And welcome everybody to Springfield, Massachusetts. Doug Sherman along with former Division I assistant coach Rob Kennedy. Iona awaits the winner. So the good news for the winner of this ball game as you move on to the semis. The bad news is you face a Gales team that played great today.
Especially on the offensive end. They were crisp. They moved the basketball. They've got so many guys. How do you game plan against them? Who do you take away? That's the reason why they're the top seed coming in. But ask either one of these two teams. They want a shot at them.
They want that challenge. Now, a great challenge came last month between Siena and Canisius. They met in Albany, went to 3 overtimes. Billy Barron scored 40 points, and the Griffs narrowly pulled out the win.
Yeah, not just a triple overtime game, but a high-scoring game, 92-88. Talk about 40 for Billy Barron. He was lights out. Robbie Poole nearly matched him in that game with 33. So maybe we get lucky and get another one.
If this game here even comes close to approaching the drama of that one, we should be so lucky. So for Siena, what do they need to do against the Griffs here today?
Well, the thing that they do best is they rebound the basketball. They've had great energy. Jimmy Passos has re-energized this program, the fan base, and he's got them playing terrific basketball coming down late. I think they've got to own the backboards to have a chance in this ball game.
Meanwhile, of course, Billy Barron is the hot topic of conversation. He is the newly named Conference Player of the Year, and he is part of our one-on-one as we go senior veteran point guard against a terrific freshman point guard.
Well, when you talk about the freshman point guard, Marquise Wright, one of the reasons why he was on the MAAC All-Rookie team. What did he do? Well, he was the first rookie to lead the league in assists in over 20 years at 5.5 per game. Second in that category is the senior star, Billy Barron, having a lights-out senior year. Well-deserved as the MAAC Player of the Year. And Doug, he shoots the ball so well with range, but he'll take whatever the defense gives you. And if you double on him, he's going to find his teammates.
Now let's go over to our public address. And now we go with our starting lineups.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Mass Mutual Center and the 2014 MAAC Basketball Championships. Today's quarterfinal men's game features the number 4-seeded Canisius Golden Griffins versus the number 5-seed Siena Saints. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the starting lineups for today's game. For Siena, a 6-foot freshman guard from Waldorf, Maryland, number 1, Marquise Wright. For Canisius, a 6'3" freshman guard from Windsor, Connecticut, number 1, Zach Lewis. For Siena, a 6'6" freshman forward from Baltimore, Maryland, number 24, Levon Long. And for Canisius, a 6'2" senior guard from East Greenwich, Rhode Island, number 12, Billy Barron. For Siena, a 6'8" sophomore forward from Peoria, Illinois, number 31, Brent Bisping. For Canisius, a 6'6" senior forward from the Bronx, New York, number 13, Chris Manhertz. For Siena, a 6'5" junior guard from Cherry Hill, New Jersey, number 33, Rob Poole. For Canisius, a 6'3" senior guard from Santiago, Dominican Republic, number 23, Chris Perez. And for Siena, a 6'8" junior center from Lagos, Nigeria, number 34, Imu Silas. And for Canisius, a 6'10 senior forward from Rochester, New York, number 35, Jordan Heath. The head coach for Siena College is Jimmy Patsos, assisted by Greg Manning.
And now let's take a look at our coaching matchup brought to you by Anaconda Sports, home of the Rock. And there's Jimmy Patsos, the senior-most coach in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, but in his first season as head coach at Siena. After a successful run at Loyola, he has, as Rob mentioned, re-energized this Siena program and the fan base in the capital region of New York. And he'll be matching wits with Jim Barron, who has 27 years of head coaching experience at the Division I level. They're talking with his son, the conference player of the year. Jim Barron was a star back in the day himself, star point guard at St. Bonaventure. And he led the Bonnies to the 1977 NIT championship. He'd love to win a championship here as the coach of the Golden Griffins. There is Billy Barron, the conference player of the year, averaging 24.4 points per game, third most in the nation, second most in the conference, behind Antoine Mason of Niagara, who we will see later on tonight. And there are some of the numbers for Barron. We talk about how Iona collectively makes it look so easy and effortless at times on the offensive end. The same could be said about Billy Barron.
Well, he's got unlimited range. He's got real good upper body strength, and he doesn't get enough credit for his athleticism. He's quick enough to be able to get where he wants on the floor.
Well, it's Siena in the gold uniforms and the Golden Griffins in the white. This is the 4-5 game of quarterfinals Saturday. Here is Rob Poole. There's the matchup we highlighted off the top. The rookie point guard against the veteran point guard, Marquise Wright. Draws first blood.
Well, he's got a quick first step, and that's what his game is all predicated on. Not the greatest outside shooter. You don't have to guard him out to the three-point line, but he's improving on that pull-up jumper, as you saw on that shot.
Marquise Wright leads the league in assists per game. Billy Barron, number 2 in the conference. Both over 5 per game. Barron rises up. Now he presumably will be able to do that all day against a 5'8" defender.
Well, he's got good size over top of Wright. He's got good strength. It's a matchup of Wright's quickness against the strength and the outside shooting ability of Billy Barron.
Now defensively, if you're Siena, what point in time do you start thinking about getting a bigger guard on Barron if he's able to take advantage of the size?
Well, if he starts going off like he did the last time these two teams played, you got to be able to think about making a switch.
Von Long tied up. Held ball. Zach Lewis gets the possession back for the Griffs.
In the last time out, you and I had that ball game up at Manhattan. The Jaspers did a terrific job of bottling up Billy Barron in that game. He was held to 10 points and 2 of 10 field goal, and they were really physical with him. I thought at times they beat him up and fouled him, and he didn't get a whistle, but they ran the second guy at him and forced the ball out of his hands. If he gets going, that's something that Jimmy Patsos and his staff are going to have to think about.
And Jimmy Patsos said after that game that certainly he would watch what Manhattan did defensively and perhaps take principles of what he saw Coach Masiello do, but does Siena have the personnel to be able to employ it like Manhattan did?
They certainly don't have the depth that the Jaspers do, because Manhattan's as deep as any team in the league.
10 to shoot. Rob Poole hands off to Marquise Wright. Poole. Siena 5, Canisius 3.
As we said, lost behind Billy Barron's 40 last time these two teams played. Was the 33 that Rob Poole was able to put up on 6 threes.
Tough pass to handle for Chris Manhertz.
Well, late in the shot clock, there's the quickness of Marquise Wright, able to drop it back off, and Rob Poole, who usually has a couple of defenders hanging all over him, got a good look.
Well, anytime you can get 2 defenders to bump into each other, that's a good move. Evan Himes has come into the game. He has become the key 6th performer off the bench for the Saints this year. Levon Long fouled before the shot. Non-shooting foul, and so it'll be Siena basketball on the end line. So Marquise Wright on the bench early on, and Jimmy Patsos giving his freshman a chance to sit and watch for at least a while.
He doesn't do that often. Averages nearly 35 minutes per game. 6th best in the MAAC. Not bad when you're a freshman point guard. You walk in, literally, they gave him the ball, and he has delivered.
Patsos said that he knew on the team's August trip to Montreal that the team was going to be okay in the hands of Marquise Wright. And immediately he exhibited signs of being a very good point guard. Bisping facing up, now backing down. And it's Zach Lewis with the ball. Traveling violation against Manhertz. Well, we've got a lot of the better freshmen in the MAAC in this ball game. Zach Lewis, Marquise Wright, and Levon Long. First time in 2 decades the same school has had multiple players on the all-rookie team. Wright and Long hoping to be building blocks for Siena. Zach Lewis, meanwhile, he seems to be the star of the future for the Griffs once Billy Barron moves on.
Yeah, and he certainly has had a good second half of the season.
Bisping for 3. The sophomore from Peoria, Illinois, makes it 8-3 Siena.
And just his 8th 3 on the season. Took a lot more threes last year than this year.
Poole to steal. Canisius head coach Jim Barron says to Zach Lewis, just relax. Now, we're not in Albany, but we're only about an hour and a half from Albany. And you can certainly tell it's a pro-Siena crowd here in the building today, Rob.
Well, he talked about the fact that Jimmy Patsos has re-energized his team and re-energized the fan base. And why not? The way that they've played so many close games coming down the stretch. 8 of their last 10 have been decided in the last minute. Good execution on the offense. You see Bisping still stuck at 7 threes because that was a 2 with his foot on the line. But good energy with their defense, and Rob Poole able to convert easily off the steal at the other end.
Now, did they make that change for Bisping's 3 back to a 2? Did they review it? We just saw that it clearly was a 2, but did they review it? Bisping up on the board still says 3 points. But I have a feeling the Saints may have just gotten away with a point.
Well, remember, the new rule is that the officials at a dead ball can go look to review it, so they may wait to the first media timeout, but I don't know if they realize it.
Jordan Heath knocks down the 3.
Oh, and you say, what in the world's he doing out there? Well, that's what he does. 6th best in the MAAC at 41% from beyond the 3-point line. Jordan Heath will stretch out the D. And that was deep, too, Doug. That was with the foot on the NBA 3-point line.
Well, we do understand that Bisping was credited with a 2, so that's good. They got it right. And here is Bisping again for 2. This one rattles out. Barron being double teamed by Marquise Wright and Jimmy Patsos. Perez misses. Manhertz keeps it alive. Jump ball. And it'll be Siena basketball when we come back. The Saints lead the Golden Griffins 10-6. The winner advances to take on Iona in the MAAC semis.
Well, look what the wind blew in. Putting the team back together. We need you. That's music to my ear. It's too easy out here. Oh, man, match. Oh, baby.
It's knowing that you always compete against the best while making you become the best that you can be. It's about joining a family with a storied history, where athletics and academics are held to the highest of standards. It's about creating the future leaders of tomorrow, all with the focus on one goal: graduation. It's the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
Division I basketball returns to Springfield this March. The MAAC Men's and Women's Basketball Championships, where somebody could become an NCAA champion. March 6th through the 10th, Mass Mutual Center in Springfield.
Gets it off from midcourt.
Get your tickets for the MAAC Basketball Championship and get into the action.
All the way to the finish.
At Ticketmaster.com, MAACachusets.com, or at the Mass Mutual Center box office. Presented by Mass Mutual Financial Group.
Well, look what the wind blew. Putting the team back together. We need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man. Oh, baby.
The 2014 MAAC Basketball Championship is brought to you by Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. And by Anaconda Sports. Home of the Rock is proud to sponsor the MAAC. It is a beautiful afternoon here in Springfield, Massachusetts. That is the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame. Not far from where we are here in the Mass Mutual Center, and a visit to the Hall of Fame is a treat. If you're any sort of basketball fan, they've got you covered. Professional basketball, college basketball, all levels of amateur basketball, including the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
And as you're right, if you're a basketball fan, you got to get there. A little bit of everything for kids. You can get out, get some shots up as well.
What do you mean just for kids? I
if you're a kid. Oh, you get shots too?
Absolutely. When do you get to go to a museum and end it with some jump shots? It's fantastic. I've had them.
We got to get somebody to chart your shots over there.
No, we don't need to do that. But I've been kicked out twice that I've stayed so long taking shots that it's the end of the shift, and they're like, Sherman, get out of here.
Yeah. As 10 kids are waiting for their shot, and you're taking a ball from them.
Well, I can get the rebound. Well, this is the third and final year of this contract at a neutral site venue here in Springfield, Mass. for the MAAC. Next year moving back to Albany. Emo Silas coming off a terrific regular season finale, his first 2 here today.
He had 11 rebounds to go along with 7 points and 6 blocks in that game. And coming down the stretch, Doug, he's been a little bit more aggressive offensively. It's not like he's putting up huge numbers, but he's starting to convert at the rim.
You know, he said earlier this season as Barron rises up, knocks down the 3. Emo Silas said that this coaching staff with Jimmy Patsos has simplified things in his mind for him. Do 1 or 2 things as opposed to trying to do too much, and do them well, and that seems to have helped.
And so many times with post guys, that's the case. You don't need 20 moves in the post. You got to be able to post up, get the basketball, and then have 1 or 2 go-to moves to finish.
Zach Lewis off the Barron feed, and here come the Griffs. And you may have noticed that Siena's point total went from 10 to 9. Coming out of that last break, the officials did spend time at the video monitor and did make the correction to make it a 2-pointer for Bisping a couple of minutes ago. Poole's blocked, but a foul is called. And so the junior from South Jersey will shoot 2. Well, no question about the last jump shot for Zach Lewis from being well beyond the 3-point line.
And right in rhythm in transition, and Billy Barron able to find him as Lewis stepped right into it. You mentioned, Doug, when they got that first time out, he was heading over to the bench, and Jimmy Barron, his coach, was saying, relax, relax. And Lewis has played with a good calm and a good demeanor coming down the stretch of the season. He's turned it over just 4 times in the last 134 minutes coming into the game.
And there's Zach Lewis. Full court pressure off the made free throw by the Saints. Travel. Phil Valenti into the ball game, turns it over.
Valenti always gives him a spark of energy off the bench. At times spun the wheels before he put the ball on the floor.
Well, every coach has a different plan at tournament time, and Jim Barron's plan coming from Buffalo was a little bit different. He gave his guys Monday off from practice. They worked out Tuesday. LeVon Long, tough shot. Silas is fouled by Valenti. But then on Wednesday, Coach Barron then gave his guys another day off. Thursday, they bussed from Buffalo to Albany, worked out at Hudson Valley Community College in Troy that night, and then yesterday bussed the rest of the way from Albany to here in Springfield. And I don't know if there's a proper blueprint, but everybody does it a little differently. More work, less work. Take them to a movie, don't take them to a movie. But Coach Barron's been through the wars before, and he's got a plan and sticks to it.
Well, the biggest thing that you're trying to do coming down the stretch is have fresh legs. Keep your guys fresh, and you don't want to beat them up. And one of the things that Billy Barron, his son, said before the game last Sunday up at Manhattan was, we got to finish better than we did at the end of the regular season and into the MAAC tournament than we did last year. They lost in the quarterfinals in a real good game last year against Iona, but he wants to make sure that they're able to take it a little bit further this year.
Well, he went through resistance training, leg training, stair work all summer long, patterned after Jimmer Fredette. All with what you said, Rob, in mind, that he would have the stamina this time of year to be able to play effectively 3 games in 3 days. And of course, you take it one game at a time, but when you come here and you're Canisius, you're thinking about, I got to be ready to go tomorrow and Monday just as well.
And with all that training, he took off 15 pounds despite putting on some more strength and muscle in his upper body.
Ryan Oliver missed the 3, and a chance for 3 for Chris Perez.
Now Perez running the floor, and if you run the floor and you're open, Billy Barron's going to find you right off the dribble. And that's how he's able to make that pass right on the dime. Perez able to finish through contact. Here's the key, right off the dribble. You don't want to pick that up and put your off hand on the basketball. You got to be able to control it, much like Barron did right there.
And that's the underrated part of Billy Barron's game, is passing ability. And Rob, as you mentioned on the pass and transition to Lewis where he knocked down the 3, it's getting the basketball in the right place at the right time so that the person who's receiving the ball can do something with it.
Yeah, he averages over 5 assists per game, much like he did last year. He accounts for 47% of their points between scoring it and his assists.
Barron the takeaway from Poole. He's got Himes to beat. Himes gives up the foul. And so the MAAC's best foul shooter will head to the line.
And for all of his skills, the 2 things that most impress me about Billy Barron as a player is his basketball IQ. Okay, you got Himes there. What am I doing? I don't have to give the basketball off to anybody else. I'm bigger, stronger. I'm going to go finish. And his incredible work ethic. He is the definition of a gym rat.
7 points now for the senior, whose father, Jim Barron, has talked about trying to treasure every moment. He understands that at this point, every game could be their last. Now, 20-11 overall, they will likely play in some postseason tournament once they leave Springfield, whether that's heading to the NCAA or the NIT or one of the other tournaments. But the reality is, it's been a long journey for father and son from Rhode Island to Canisius, and they are in the final days one way or the other.
Now back into the 2-3 zone. Got to find Himes. He's been shooting the ball much better from 3 as of late.
Javion Oganyemi also into the game for Siena. This is Bisping pushing his way to the basket and a chance for 3.
Now he just muscled it up. He had an open guy in the corner in Evan Himes, but the strength to be able to go finish it, and the Saints down 1.
If you want to be in medicine, start practicing. If you want to be in accounting, start crunching numbers. If you want to score points, get in the game. If you want to make a difference, serve others. Canisius students are many things. Eager to learn, capable of taking on an ever-changing world. The only thing they're not is content to sit still.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Everybody knows that.
Well, did you know that when a tree falls in the forest and no one's around, it does make a sound?
Oh boy! I'm falling! Everybody look out! Oh! Little help here?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you, well, you know.
Anybody?
You must do the thing you think you cannot do.
The mind is everything. What you think, you become.
It is not best that we should all think alike.
He who learns but does not think is lost.
The main purpose of life is to live rightly, think rightly, act rightly.
Oh, the things you could think of if only you try.
Back in Springfield, Massachusetts, Canisius with a 1-point lead over Siena. We go over to Mitch Bonaguro with Saints head coach Jimmy Patsos.
Jimmy, you said you had a little wrinkle for Barron. I see you doing a little trapping on him. Is that something you put in for the game?
You know how we do 55-1 trapping back? We're kind of letting him catch it and then run. And he's a great player, trying to get it out of his hands. And then we went under the screen there. I don't think that's going to work.
Canisius went zone. What are you looking for to do against this zone?
You got to get the ball inside. I talked to Gary Williams. We try to push the guard through and have him stop in the middle, but we turn. We got to get it to the middle, Mitch, but we got to push our guard through. Trying some different stuff today. Nothing to lose.
Good luck, Jimmy.
NCAA March Madness is coming to Buffalo. When the final buzzer sounds, only the best will advance to the NCAA Sweet 16, and you can experience it live. Catch the second and third round action of the 2014 NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship, March 20th and 22nd at First Niagara Center, hosted by Canisius, the MAAC in Niagara. All session tickets on sale. Go to ncaa.com/MBB tickets and make a date with champions. Well, Coach Patsos referring to Gary Williams. That's because that is his mentor. They were together on the coaching staff when the University of Maryland won the national title in 2002. And shortly thereafter, Patsos got his first head coaching job at Loyola University, and they still keep in touch. He's had Coach Williams come up to Loudonville and work with his team this year. And one guy in particular who Coach Williams singled out preseason was Brett Bisping. He identified Bisping as somebody who could really grow his game, and that has turned out to be prophetic. Himes, Oganyemi, right, Long, and Bisping. Had a good close to the season coming off the bench for the Saints. Here's Oliver from the corner. Bisping on the offensive glass.
Yeah, good movement, good ball movement against the zone. And when you do that, now it's harder to go find your block out responsibilities. Come up with the offensive board. Better movement, better offense you run, the better your offensive rebounding is going to be.
Himes blocked by Manhurst. Shot clock continues to wind down. Bisping on the second effort.
Well, Gary Williams would be proud of that effort. Doing a good job of staying right with it.
Well, when Coach Patsos took over, he said to Bisping, "Who's your favorite player?" And he was talking about LeBron or somebody like that. He said, "Your favorite player should be Bill Laimbeer." And Bisping said, "I don't know who Bill Laimbeer is." So he went and looked on YouTube, and you know what? Bill Laimbeer is now Brett Bisping's favorite player, and you can see right there he has patterned his game after one of the old bad boys.
Nice pass. That's why he leads the MAAC in assists. That's a terrific look and find in the open floor, but then you also have to thread the needle.
Himes called for the foul.
Well, here's the great vision, but how about the bounce pass? And that's where you got to put it. You've got Jordan Heath with his size at 6'10". Where can he get? He can't get down, and so you put the ball low on a nice bounce pass, able to get it right through. That was a terrific look, find, and delivery by Wright.
Jimmy Patsos not happy at all with that last call against Himes. He said mid-season he wasn't going to pick up any more technical fouls, and while he did go a few weeks without getting one, that promise has been out the window. So we'll keep an eye on one of the more entertaining sideline acts in all of college basketball. Barron fouled by Oganyemi.
Now he's got to be careful. Well, what he's really getting after is he needs this game to not be called that closely, because they're going to get up and pressure, and they've got to figure out a way how to body up against Billy Barron. So he's going to work the referees, because he wants this to be a much more physical game than Canisius does.
And that was Bob Adams there getting the earful. Meanwhile, from the other bench, Coach Barron has been yelling all year about the way defenders have been trying to take advantage of his son and star player, Jordan Heath, for 3.
And when they get Billy Barron and Jordan Heath in pick and pop action, boy, it's hard to guard. He's not going to be a guy that's going to necessarily pick and roll and go body up inside. But as we said, his ability to stretch the defense at 41%, now 43 threes on the season, that's a little bit different than you see from most centers.
Maurice White has come into the game, a freshman for Siena. Pass deflects out to Bisping. White penetrates, and he'll shoot 2. First foul on Chris Manhertz. One of the intriguing parts as we take another look at the foul here, why NBA scouts like Billy Barron, is his analytic approach to the pick and roll, pick and pop. And he studies how that should be done. He studies video of Steph Curry, that's his favorite player, and he is able to apply what he learns onto the floor. And as you know, Rob, the NBA, a lot of pick and roll, a lot of pick and pop.
And you got to read off of it. And that's where his basketball IQ and his work ethic are two of the reasons why he has a chance to be able to play in the league.
NBA scouts have been around the Spurs, the Jazz, a number of other teams. We did a game last weekend where there were half a dozen NBA scouts in attendance, as we have here this weekend. Heath with Ogunyemi flying at him. Long rebound. Rainey right back to the 10. Ogunyemi the last to touch, so the Griffs will have it down by 2. This is the 4-5 quarterfinal. The winner of this will face Iona, the regular season champ, in the semis tomorrow.
Well, Siena, the second best rebounding team in the MAAC, unable to corral that one. When you're second best, sitting behind Quinnipiac, everybody's sitting behind the Bobcats, the nation's leader in that category.
Barron steps back. Nice job of Wright to stay with him that time.
Yeah, just to get a hand in his face and bother his sight line.
Ball deflects out of bounds. It's Canisius basketball. Nice job by Zach Lewis. All rookie guard against all rookie guard.
And Lewis has good length. He's got long arms and able to get his hands on a number of basketballs, poking in and being a pest defensively. Top 10 in the league in steals.
There he is, misfiring. Rebound Oliver. Oliver's another player who has changed his game for the better. Not just a spot-up shooter, but playing more all around. And Levon Long, the other member of the All-MAAC rookie team for the Saints. Poole over Barron.
Well, he's got a size advantage. Poole at 6'5", takes Barron inside, and with the spin, able to create some separation.
He's got 9, Barron's got 8. Remember, these two had a mano-a-mano showdown last month in a triple overtime Canisius win. Manhertz takes out Long and picks up the foul. 23-19, Siena with a 4-point advantage over Canisius.
Well, look what the wind blew. Putting the team back together. We need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man, match. Oh, baby.
NCAA March Madness is coming to Buffalo. Experience it live.
Oh, brings it home.
As 8 of the top collegiate teams compete for a shot at the NCAA Sweet 16. Don't miss the buzzer beaters. As Cinderellas crash the party at the 2014 NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship. March 20th and 22nd at the First Niagara Center in Buffalo. Affordable tickets now available. Visit ncaa.com/MBB tickets.
Well, look what the wind blew. Putting the team back together. We need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man, man. Oh, baby.
Siena's on a 9-3 run to take this 4-point lead over Canisius. 7:22 remaining first half. Canisius senior Billy Barron is one of 24 Division I point guards to be named a finalist for the 2014 Bob Cousy Collegiate Point Guard of the Year Award. Cast your vote for Billy at www.couseyaward.com. And speaking of websites, Canisius College has recently launched Billy Barron's own website, BillyBarron12, as in his uniform number.com. And you can get all the information and links to stories about Billy. And it's what the school is doing to try and help promote him and his want to not only win the Bob Cousy Award and potentially be named an All-American Rob, but also for scouts to be able to go to one place and check out all things Billy Barron.
Know when you're good? When you got your own website.
Yep. It's very well done. By the way, the number 12 that Billy wears, that's the same number his dad used to wear as a player at St. Bonaventure back in the 1970s. So another connection between father and son. Emo Silas has come back into the game for Siena. Eight to shoot. Levon Long a little short. And a rebound pulled down by Jordan Heath. Let's watch the two-man game if it comes. See where the ball screen comes from. Valenti comes out. Sets the screen for Barron. Now they try to go inside on the mismatch, but better defensively was Marquise Wright. And even better at the other end was Jordan Heath. Valenti. And a chance for three, the foul against Poole.
Well, that is just a great effort started by the defensive block at the one end by Jordan Heath, and then getting rid of the basketball quickly to get out in transition. Nice job of attacking here by Wright, but even better defense. He puts it to his left to try to shield the defender, but Heath comes up with the block and then the good outlet to get them right in transition.
He's one of the best shot blockers in the league at 2.2 per game, and because of that, Valenti at the line with a chance for three. Bisping back in. Oliver goes out. There's the redshirt freshman out of Aquinas Institute in Rochester, New York. He's from Victor, just outside of Rochester. And the southpaw has his first 3 points of the afternoon. Long is fouled before the shot. Goes against Dominique Rainey.
You talk about a guy with great upside potential. Long is a guy who is appropriately named. He's got great size, length, the lefty. He has refined his game and done stuff as the season's gone on, Doug, that you didn't see earlier in the year. Just starting to scratch the surface of where he could be. He could be one of the better players in this league.
You know, this Siena freshman class, including Levon Long, 4 of the 5 of them were Loyola commits originally to Jimmy Patsos, and they followed him from Loyola to Siena. And so the guys we're seeing here, other than JVN Oganyemi, this would have been the Loyola Greyhounds freshman class this year.
Yeah, and sometimes say, oh, well, they all went with the coach. Yeah, they did that, but they also were recruited to play in the MAAC. And so then when Loyola made the switch into the Patriot League, a little bit of a different level of play as Heath continues to stretch it out. When they go pick and roll and they dive the other big, whether it's Valenti or whether it's Manhurts down the lane, he just replaces back up top. Siena's got to be able to defend that.
And he is 3 of 4 from beyond the arc, and he's got Canisius back on top. Poole with an air ball. Wright saves it, but he and Bisping miscommunicated. Lewis to the wing. Perez back to Lewis. Nice job by Poole that time to deny the basketball. And now an over and back violation has been called.
And that is the right call because it went off of a Canisius player, and most people don't know that. Even though it was not thrown by a Canisius player, it went off of Canisius player's shin back into the backcourt, and that is the proper call. But most people don't know. I didn't know it until last year when I misspoke during a game and then cleaned it up.
Look at you. I'm guessing some of your official friends might have helped you with that.
It was the one I got wrong all year.
Well, it happened. Long. Out of bounds. And Siena will keep it. Tough to get a shot up and over. First Valenti, and then the help side defender, Heath.
Yeah, Heath has come with good energy here today.
Yep.
Offensively, stepping out, knocking down threes, but challenging shots at the rim.
Billy Barron, after a brief break, he averages 39 minutes per game. He'll come back in at the next stoppage. Long again working from the high post. This time able to go up over both defenders.
And when he gets the ball into the high post, he rips right through and he's got the length to go finish.
Freshman from Baltimore with his first 2 points, and he's got the Saints back on top. Lewis back to Valenti. Talk about energy off the bench. Valenti with 5, now 6 points.
And just his 6th 3 on the season, so the scouting report doesn't worry about him out there.
Well, about a month ago, Billy Barron said that Valenti is going to be our X factor in the MAAC tournament. And so far, he's been right. Valenti's been very good so far in this quarterfinal.
That is a great catch by Heath.
A lot of contact, no call, cool. Blocked by Lewis. What a defensive play by the freshman.
Well, got all ball up top, but a lot of contact down low. The officials have been consistent. They've been letting them play.
A lot of contact at both ends in that sequence for sure.
And just as long as they're consistent, you live with it.
Hines. And now the foul is called, saying Heath did not stand straight up, so he gets the personal. Well, these two teams, the last time they met, went to triple overtime. This one has all the same type of energy. We're back in Springfield, Massachusetts. The MAAC Basketball Championship presented by Pepsi Max. And Canisius enjoys a 2-point lead over Siena. Coming up on our halftime report from the Mass Mutual Center, we'll have a conversation with the new MAAC Men's Basketball Committee Chair from Siena College, their athletic director, John Dargenio. We'll also have our first half highlights and statistics and more keen analysis from my broadcast partners, Mitch Bonaguro and Rob Kennedy.
You want analysis? How about 21 of Canisius' 28 points have come from beyond the 3-point line. Very efficient, 7 of 12 from deep. And they were able to handle Siena easily at home way back when in December at a season high 15 threes, nearly at that mark here in the first half.
So if you're Siena, how do you better defend the 3-point line?
Well, they've gotten a lot of them. Jimmy Barron's team's gotten a lot of them in transition. So what you got to do is you got to run good offense, score the basketball, and not allow Canisius to get out on the run. And when they do, don't run back to the paint. You got to go run to the three-point line first.
Evan Himes with 4 points. The junior from Durham, North Carolina, ties the game at 28. Valenti turns it over.
And Valenti turned it over, but one of the few times you see Billy Barron put a teammate in a tough spot. Not where you needed to put the ball in Valenti's hands right there.
Three and a half minutes until halftime. Himes thought about it. Long had it stripped away. Lewis, the lob. Nice job defensively by Himes to knock it out of bounds.
They timed that perfectly.
Well, we talked about Tavon Sledge in the first game being undersized but a terrific athlete. Same can be said for Evan Himes. There aren't many faster in the MAAC than Himes. Poole went for the steal. Chris Perez is called for the charge.
Well, that was Bill Lambier-ish, right? Bisping rotating over and giving up his body. Well, here's the closeout. You got to have help on the backside, and that's a good call. He's outside the arc, and clearly he was planted before. He's going into his movement for the shot.
Himes gets a new direction from Coach Patsos. Nice look to Long, and he lays it in.
Well, dribble penetration, you get paint touches into the gut of the zone defense. Nice little bounce pass to finish. Now the Saints in a box and one, and it's Himes with the defensive assignment on Billy Barron. Full out denial to try and keep the basketball out of his hands. Another little different wrinkle.
That'll leave other people open like Perez.
And that's how you attack. Box and one, triangle and two. You got to be able to get movement with the guy that's being guarded so that you got to move defenders around. But other guys, as you said, Doug, are going to have open opportunities. Perez able to step right in and deliver on that wide open three.
Now, Rob, remember, Jimmy Patsos was the coach at Loyola a number of years ago when they faced Davidson. When Steph Curry was at the height of his powers, Loyola guarded Steph Curry everywhere on the floor, denying him the basketball, and basically left the other four players open.
Yeah, and they guarded him with two guys, so he basically double-teamed Steph Curry. He knew well before anybody else that Steph Curry was that good.
Bisping the layup.
Created a little national attention. They took Curry away, but they got their doors blown off.
Well, Davidson was very good. They were not just a one-man team, and while he was obviously the man that made them go, there were other good players on that squad. Perez with another bucket. He's certainly capable of putting points on the board if they're going to take Barron away.
Oh, you're right. He's their second leading scorer at a little over 12 a game, and he's been playing well coming down the stretch, averaging over 15 a game in the last 5.
He's a young man with over 1,400 career points at 2 prior stops plus Canisius. Now working on his master's degree. Himes tried to split the double team, and Barron came away with it. Lewis from 22. Timeout, Siena. You always know where you stand with Jimmy Patsos.
Well, that stop with 2 feet. Not happy with the turnover by Himes. He tried to split the defender, but he brought the basketball back to Billy Barron. And Billy Barron, third best in the MAAC, had taken the ball away. Over 1.5 steals per game, so you got to be aware of where he is.
The Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference and ESPN have very exciting news for MAAC sports fans. ESPN has launched a dedicated MAAC channel available on the Watch ESPN app, on Apple TV, and Roku devices. All live, upcoming, and replay MAAC men's and women's basketball games will be available on this channel starting last month. Olympic sports and non-event programming such as highlights, news, and features will be included in the future. Under a minute remaining in the half. Siena basketball. Long, Bisping right, Oliver and Poole the 5 on the floor. Siena has forced 12 Canisius turnovers already. The Saints have given it up just 5 times. No thought about a 2-for-1 here, I guess.
It's interesting that the NBA is so far ahead of that than college coaches are. NBA guys at every quarter are thinking about trying to get a quick shot, coming out to get the extra possession.
Got a good look here from Oliver. Bodies go flying. It's Bisping and Perez, and they're going to call it against the Griffs guard.
Well, Perez with the solid box out, but then he's clear in space as he brings Bisping down. Bisping, I tell you what, he's been mopping the floor all over the place, taking charges, diving for loose balls.
Well, one should change a player's mindset into who you are. You're not just a spot-up jump shooter. You are a physical presence. He has really embraced that.
And a week ago in a game up at Quinnipiac, he got the ball ripped out of his hands early in the half, and Jimmy Patsos lit him up like nobody's business. There's that box out. And unless he's pulling him down, that's a good call because you can't just go clear space. Well, he responded and then came up with 2 huge offensive rebounds as he ripped the basketball away from other guys. And Jimmy Patsos has called the timeout at one point in time just to chest bump him because he was so happy that he did that. But you're right, when he plays with that type of enthusiasm and toughness, it's contagious to the rest of his team.
Well, when does a good box out turn into clearing space? What's the difference?
Oh, and you start backing him up that far.
Barron, a lot of contact, no call. Under 5 seconds in the half. Heath going to have to jack it up. Well, we went to triple overtime the last time, and boy, we are in for a treat as the first 20 minutes were highly entertaining. 34-33 our score. The Saints with a 1-point lead over the Golden Griffins. Back with our halftime report after this. 14 lead changes in that first half, with Siena on top at the break 34-33. Right now we go over to Mitch Bonaguro, standing by with Canisius senior guard Billy Barron.
Billy, guys, the 12 turnovers in the first half. You're going to have to shore that up a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. We got to tighten those screws. I mean, come March, you can't make those stupid little errors. And, that's very uncharacteristic of us. I got to do a better job of putting guys in better places to perform. So I take ownership of that, and, we'll tighten that up from the second half.
And they're doubling you a little bit. You're bringing the ball up. They're coming up with a big guy. Is that throwing you guys off a little bit?
No. Just, other guys got to be ready to make plays. And, Jordan Heath has done a great job of stepping up. As long as he's knocking down those shots, as long as other guys are being aggressive, we'll be fine.
Good luck in the second half.
Billy Barron has yet to take a 2-point shot. He's 2 for 4. All 3-point shots, 7 points, 4 assists. His club down a point. When we come back, we'll be joined by the athletics director at Siena College, John Dargenio.
Well, look what the wind blew. Putting the team back together. We need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man. Oh, baby.
It's knowing that you will always compete against the best while making you become the best that you can be. It's about joining a family with a storied history where athletics and academics are held to the highest of standards. It's about creating the future leaders of tomorrow, all with the focus on one goal: graduation. It's the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
NCAA March Madness is coming to Buffalo. Experience it live.
Brings it home.
As 8 of the top collegiate teams compete for a shot at the NCAA Sweet 16. Don't miss the buzzer beaters. As Cinderellas crash the party at the 2014 NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship. March 20th and 22nd at the First Niagara Center in Buffalo. Affordable tickets now available. Visit ncaa.com/MBB tickets.
I'm excited for college, but financially, it's going to be a little hard. I have to apply for scholarships, definitely. Money is kind of a big topic for us for college.
Job placement is really important, especially in today's economy, because I want to work as soon as I can to work off the debt and do, what I want to start doing for a living. I want to have the nice progression from, school to college to my life.
Well, look what the wind blew. Putting the team back together. We need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man. Oh, baby.
Back at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts, at the intermission of our second men's quarterfinal, Siena leading Canisius by a point. And we are pleased to be joined by the new chair of the MAAC Men's Basketball Committee, the athletic director at Siena College, John Dargenio. John, welcome.
Thank you, Doug.
A new title for you. What does it mean?
Well, you know what? It's humbling that my peers thought that I could do a good enough job in replacing a guy like Bob Burns. So I'm excited to work with Rich Enzer and his staff and the rest of our league, not only on the tournament and the preparations, but how do we continue to make MAAC basketball the best it can be and one of the best mid-majors in the country.
Well, you mentioned Bob Burns. We should mention again, he is the outgoing athletic director going into retirement from Manhattan College, and so those are big shoes to fill for you.
No doubt. Bob did a great job, not just with the MAAC, but at Manhattan. Obviously, when he was with the NIT, he was really a champion of the mid-majors, and what he did for this league is really, it's hard to quantify because there was so much behind the scenes.
What have you learned from him that you can apply to the new job?
Well, you know what? What I learned from Bob is observe, speak when you have things that are worthy of speaking about and not just to hear yourself be heard.
Well, he is certainly going to be missed, but they've picked a good one, a unanimous vote by the rest of the league. So like you say, it's very flattering. Now, you've been around the MAAC since 1989 in one capacity or another. You were SID for a number of years at Siena and now the longtime athletic director. What do you think that experience will give you going forward in this position?
Well, hopefully it gives me the institutional memory to understand that some of the things we've done in the past might not have worked at the time, but maybe it's time to try them again, and also to bring a little bit of that experience to the rest of our league, not only in terms of what we've done at Siena, but what we've done in the league in terms of trying to schedule different non-conference opponents, trying to make this tournament the best it could be in terms of marketing and fan relations.
So now going forward, after this 3-year run in Springfield, the tournament next year heads back to Albany. What are some of the things we should be looking for in 2015 at the Times Union Center?
Well, you know what? It's always been a welcomed event in Albany. The town is just the right size for it. The expectations are perfect for it. And I think you're going to see a renewed energy and fan base for the MAAC because it's been away for a while and people are excited to have it back.
Well, based on the way your school and its fans have traveled here to Springfield, I certainly think with Coach Patsos, you have re-energized and re-engaged the fan base there.
I think so, and certainly what he's done, and it goes beyond that with what's going on in Albany with the Capitol Center, the Convention Center, a new hotel coming in, some renovations to the Times Union Center. I think all of that is coming together at the right time for this league to really take off.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining us, John.
Always great to be with you.
All right, that's John D'Argenio, the athletics director at Siena College, taking a bigger role at the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference as the new men's basketball committee chairman. Back with more of our halftime report in Springfield right after this.
Division I basketball returns to Springfield this March. The MAAC Men's and Women's Basketball Championships, where somebody could become an NCAA champion. March 6th through the 10th, Mass Mutual Center in Springfield.
Gets it off from midcourt.
Get your tickets for the MAAC Basketball Championship and get into the action.
All the way to the finish.
At Ticketmaster.com, Massachusetts.com, or the Mass Mutual Center box office. Presented by Mass Mutual Financial Group.
Fulfill your educational goals on a 22-acre private residential campus just minutes away from the world's economic, cultural, communications, and entertainment center, New York City. For more than 160 years, Manhattan College has promised a Lasallian Catholic education featuring 5 schools of study that challenge students to excel academically while providing career opportunities second to none. Find out what Manhattan College can promise your future.
NCAA March Madness is coming to Buffalo. Experience it live.
Brings it home.
As 8 of the top collegiate teams compete for a shot at the NCAA Sweet 16. Don't miss the buzzer beaters. As Cinderellas crash the party at the 2014 NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship. March 20th and 22nd at the First Niagara Center in Buffalo. Affordable tickets now available. Visit ncaa.com/MBB tickets.
We are St. Peter's University, a place where students who are eager to learn are taught by people who care, on a campus designed for both to thrive. We're proud to offer incredible learning opportunities and life-changing experiences, and that means our students are prepared to succeed in their fields, in their communities, and all over the world. Get to know St. Peter's University, the Jesuit University of New Jersey.
Siena 34, Canisius 33 at the intermission of our second men's quarterfinal here at the Mass Mutual Center. And welcome back, everybody, to the birthplace of basketball, Springfield, Massachusetts. With Rob Kennedy, I'm Doug Sherman. And Billy Barron told us earlier in the halftime, told Mitch Bonaguro, he's got to do a better job of getting the ball in good spots for his teammates to make good plays.
Well, especially if they're going to run a second defender at him or whether or not they're going to play box and one. We saw a little bit of both in that first half from Siena, but he'll take whatever the defense gives him. And if that's shots, he'll go ahead and take that. If it's all of a sudden guys running out and his teammates are open, he's more than willing to give up the basketball to his teammate.
And we'll illustrate that in the highlights. He did make some good passes in that first half. 4 assists for the Conference Player of the Year.
Right here, a perfect pass on the run. As again, when he's in transition, he's got the ability to go find people. Talking about his teammates stepping up and getting things going offensively. Well, Perez certainly did that in the first half. And if they're going to take Barron away, other guys, Perez, as well as he, going to step up and score the basketball. On the other side, well, Rob Poole usually has a couple of guys hanging all over him, but when he's got himself an opportunity for some good looks, he's been able to convert in different ways, knocking down the three, using his defense to create some offense, and then using his size here as he was able to go post up Billy Barron inside the paint.
Rob Poole leads Siena with 9 points. The Saints don't take or make a lot of threes. That's not their MO, just the opposite for Canisius.
Yeah, Canisius 8 3-pointers there in that first half. As we said, the first time these teams met, when Canisius was able to handle Siena in their first matchup back in December, they knocked down 15 threes. They've got half of that here in the first half with 8.
We'll be back with more of our halftime report. A conversation with Siena's Rob Poole right after this. Welcome back to the 2014 MAAC Basketball Championship presented by Pepsi Max. We are at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts. Our score 34-33 Siena. Mitch Bonaguro catching up with Siena's Rob Poole.
Rob, very important that you take over the scoring role. What's your mindset now? You had the first half, they're playing some zone. What's your mindset against the zone?
Just move the ball around, try to get good shots. They're a good defensive team. We got to get the ball in the middle and make some shots.
The rebounding was pretty even. I know you guys really, that's an important stat for you. You think you had to rebound better in the second half?
Oh, yeah. We just got to keep crashing the glass, try to get extra points, get to the free throw line, and maybe get a win.
Good luck, Rob.
Thank you.
Interesting there that Mitch Bonaguro is the man who recruited Rob Poole to Siena, the head coach of the Saints the last 3 years, and he's the reason Poole is in Loudonville. There you see the brackets. Iona won our first quarterfinal with ease, 94-71, the most points scored in a MAAC tournament game since 2011. And so the Gales await the winner of this ball game, which has all the signs, Rob, of going right down to the wire.
Oh, we said 4-5 is usually the best matchup of quarterfinal day, and that first half certainly lived up to it. Good intensity both ways. We had terrific three-point shooting from Canisius. Should be an entertaining second half.
There is the Conference Player of the Year, Billy Barron. And he has had a history of being deferential in the first half and then trying to take over in the second half as much as anything. Here's an illustration of that as we take a look at the one-on-one. We update you on our freshman point guard Wright against the senior point guard Barron.
Well, Barron's a guy that you're going to expect to score it more, and as we said, they ran doubles at him. They ran a little box and one late in the first half, and by doing so, got the basketball out of his hands. A good thing for the Griffs is his teammates have been able to deliver. And Wright's not necessarily the guy that's going to score it, but he's going to get other guys involved. Just 2 assists there in the first half. But one in particular on the break was a terrific look and feed on the run.
Well, one illustration, as you look at Marquise Wright, of how Billy Barron can heat up. He had a game earlier this year where he was scoreless at halftime against Ryder. Robbie finished the night with 38 points that he scored after halftime. I mean,
38.
So he is again looking to get his teammates involved, but when the time comes, he's ready to go and put points up himself. The Griffs in their home whites as the 4 seed. Siena in the gold as the number 5 seed. Bob Adams, one of the officials, asked you and I if we're good. Yeah, we're getting thumbs up, Bob. Let's go. We're good.
I thought he wanted to know if we wanted pizza, if we need anything else. If
Bob's good like
we're
that.
good to go.
He's good like that. I didn't know you and I had so much control of not
if
only
I knew that, well, I'd tell you what, some things would be different. Here's the double once again, gets it out of Billy Barron's hands. And Doug, when you see somebody average 24 a game like Billy Barron, you think, well, he gets a ton of shots up. He doesn't do that. And again, if teams try to take him away, he's a point guard, so he's going to feed other guys like he does right here to Manhurts.
Manhurts on the putback. First shot attempts of the day for Manhurts.
And not surprising, it's on the offensive glass because he is a blue-collar guy. Brings his lunch pail every day that he steps out there.
Rob Poole misses the 3. He bats the ball around, but it comes to Emo Silas, and the Saints pull it back out. Well, Manhurts is wearing that face mask because he suffered a broken nose back in February in a regular season game against Manhattan. Bisping a little flat on the shot, and there's Manhurts ripping down the rebound. Barron going one-on-one. Little teardrop, and it rolls off. Silas knocked it towards the corner. It's saved somehow by Barron. Canisius basketball.
That's why you never stop and wait for the basketball to go out of bounds. Wright thought it was going out, so didn't make a play on it. Just great hustle here by Barron. Good look on the teardrop. So Wright gets himself involved there. And how about the reach around by Barron to keep that alive?
And they both knew what I didn't know. I thought that it was off of Siena, so I wondered why Barron was saving it. But on the replay there, we could see what they saw. And so a terrific play all around by Canisius. Perez drives on long, able to finish. Pretty standard move for Perez. He is tough to stop in the paint. The senior from Santiago in the Dominican Republic, he's now got 9. Ryan Oliver has checked in for the Saints, as has Javion Oganyemi. Bad pass by Oliver. Lewis going to go coast to coast.
And a rough start here in this first half for Siena. Canisius coming out with good energy and execute.
What did Jimmy Patso say to you as he walked by to get back to the court about second half? This is going to be entertaining.
Yep, and as we said, it has been, especially as of late for Siena. 8 of their last 10 games have been decided in the last minute. Sloppy pass here, but good defense by Lewis. He's got those long arms, gets involved in the play, and then tough finish at the rim.
Long, dangerous pass goes right to Billy Barron, and a traveling violation is called. As Coach Barron is saying, he's got to give him room. What do you think about that? Did Marquise Wright give him enough room to land?
Well, I thought it actually was a good call. He was backing up with him, and I think at times Billy Barron gets manhandled and grabbed, and I didn't think it was on that play.
Evan Himes. Little floater off the window. Manhurts rips it away from Oganyemi. That's a senior against a freshman. Barron will shoot a pair.
And that's where he puts you in trouble. On the break, if he senses that he's got the ability to get deep enough into the lane to use his body, he'll go ahead and do that. rips it away. I mean, Manhurt's just absolutely using his upper body strength to rip it. And then Billy Barron using his upper body strength to get himself to the line, where he goes to the line just about as much as anybody in the country, and usually converts, leads the MAAC at 88%, but missed that one.
Well, obviously there is a large Siena crowd here in Springfield, Mass, only about an hour and a half away from their Loudonville campus in upstate New York. But Canisius has turned out pretty well, too. There was a bus of students that made the trip down, and they've got a couple of sections filled as well behind the Canisius bench. Himes again drives, this time better ball movement to find Wright for three.
Now, Wright was wide open, just his 7th 3 on the season. He's got to work all off-season to improve his outside shot. Less than 20% from 3 on the year, but that was a big one.
There's still no points in the paint in the second half for Siena. We saw that stat a couple of minutes ago, where they had been dominant in that department in the first half. Still working from the perimeter. Himes never really got control of it. Lewis has got the ball, but I think they're going to call him for being out of bounds.
Now, Doug, you said before that Himes is as fast as anybody in the league. He was too fast for his own good right there. He outran the basketball. Dribble penetration by Himes, gets himself deep, the extra pass, and then, as we said, Wright, not a very good three-point shooter on the season, looked good on that.
Well, Himes has been better this year than the last two at playing under control more, and he doesn't get as many minutes. He's coming off the bench. You don't see him get out of control nearly like he did last year. Rob Poole for 2, and we're tying again at 39. Double digits for the junior out of Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
And Himes trying to use his speed to keep the ball out of Billy Barron's hands. He's much smaller than Barron, and he's bothered him, getting underneath him a little bit, much like we saw Rashawn Storrs do last time out against Manhattan. Smaller guard getting in and underneath Billy Barron.
And Storrs did a magnificent job at that. Barron, tough shot with the shot clock at 3. That's a 2.
That is a tough shot. As we said, the smaller guy can get underneath of him, but as well, the bigger guy, Billy Barron, could shoot over top of him.
Offensive foul, Himes. Well, Manhurst has certainly been much more involved here in the second half, which is a great benefit to the Golden Griffins. Canisius 41, Siena 39. Back to Springfield in just a moment.
Well, look what the wind blew. Putting the team back together. We need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man, man. Oh, baby.
I wanted to stay in the entertainment sector, so I looked at schools in New York, and Iona stood out. Iona offered a wonderful opportunity, Career Mentor Day. I met an alum who was the senior vice president at CBS. Within a week, I had an interview, and from there, I was able to get in my current position. Iona is definitely responsible for my place here and my future here.
Outstanding internships, supported by an active alumni base, are just one reason Iona graduates are helping to move the world.
At Quinnipiac University, we offer the warmth and spirit of a small town. You feel it the moment you step on our picturesque campus, and a team of upperclassmen helps you move into your freshman dorm. You feel it in the dining areas as students and faculty share meals together. And you can cheer with your friends and Boomer the Bobcat at many of our exciting NCAA Division I sporting events. This is Quinnipiac University, where you're part of our community.
Well, look what the wind blew. Putting the team back together. We need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man, man. Oh, baby.
Canisius 41, Siena 39. Just over 5 minutes gone here in the second half. And fans, visit the official photo store for the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference at stocktonphoto.com/MAAC for photos from the MAAC Men's and Women's Basketball Championships. With Rob Kennedy and Mitch Bonaguro, I am Doug Sherman. We're so pleased to have you with us here for our second men's quarterfinal of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference Championships. The winner of this game gets Iona tomorrow afternoon in the first semifinal. Siena led by 1 at halftime. The Saints trail by 2 right now. And Siena full court pressure. Barron's got the ball back, easily breaks the pressure, and that leaves Heath wide open for 3. Saints caught a break right there.
Yeah, they got away with one. This thing a little late on the diamond press, getting back over into the middle of the floor, and Billy Barron was shot out of the cannon right by him.
Long right, cool. Oganyemi and Bisping on the floor. This is Bisping for 2.
And that's his game, that 15-foot jump shot, and the face-up 4 that can stretch the D.
Manhertz again trying to take advantage of the freshman Oganyemi, just couldn't finish.
Yeah, he was just out-muscling guys inside.
And Oganyemi is no wallflower, but Manhertz looks like an NFL linebacker.
Yeah, he's a man that can put a hurting on you.
Yeah. Well, the strength and conditioning staff at Canisius certainly has been earning its money. And Manhertz is a guy who did not look like that at all when he got to Canisius as a freshman. Actually had to shed some weight. Couldn't get the dunk down, though. Nice job by the Saints to make it tough on him. The 2 freshmen, Long and Oganyemi, went up with him.
Well, they challenged, and then their teammates got back. And if you're going to press, you got to make sure that you recover back.
Bisping.
You think he's invested emotionally into this ballgame and into this season?
Bisping now with 16 to lead all scorers. Perez, no. Manhertz again controlling the glass.
You know, sometimes because Jimmy Patsos is so funny and entertaining and gregarious and outgoing, you lose the fact of how competitive he is. And, you know, sometimes on the sidelines, it's by design, some of the theatrics, to get his team fired up, get guys going. But he's got a great competitive spirit and drive, much like Billy Barron on the other side. Those 2 guys are 2 great competitors going at it.
And now what Billy Barron has done this year, Coach Patsos has not. Barron has toned down his outward emotion this year at the advice of his older brother, Jimmy, saying don't waste your energy that you might need late in the game, in overtime, double overtime. So you don't see anywhere near the demonstrative outburst that you might have seen in years past out of Billy Barron.
Well, it certainly has worked. Another 20-win season for Barron, back-to-back here at Canisius, which is not easy. And 6 out of 7 as a head coach now. Jimmy Barron has put up 20 wins on the board.
Big 3 for Lewis. And we're tied at 44. 8 points for the freshman from just down the road in Windsor, Connecticut. Poole off the curl. Left it short. Look at the point guard, Marquise Wright. Poole with another tough shot. This one doesn't go. And Perez hauls it in. Perez fouled as he tried to make his way through the paint. Silas and Valenti will come back in, replacing Oganyemi and Manhertz. And now Maurice White comes back as well for Siena. So does Ryan Oliver. There are 6 Siena players on the floor. There goes Levon Long. So Long and Bisping go out.
Well, 7 if you count Jimmy Patsos.
That's true. He does spend his fair share of time on the court, as do many Division I college basketball coaches these days. Zach Lewis. Silas challenged him and is going to be called for the foul. Zach Lewis had bad intentions when he took off.
Man, talk about attacking the rim. Holy cow. Loose ball, and he's coming right at you.
Emo Silas coming off one of his most productive games in Siena's regular season finale. He had a career-high 6 blocks against Monmouth. Tried to pick one up there, but instead picks up a foul. And so Zach Lewis will shoot a pair. This young man originally committed to Hofstra before a coaching change, and he opened his recruitment back up and winds up coming to Canisius out in Buffalo. Trying to find Silas on the post, couldn't find him. 10 to shoot. Marquise Wright reloads using a ball screen from Poole. Shot clock at 4. Wright, the long range 3, way out of his range. And now 2-on-1. Perez and Barron. Valenti, nice job following the play, and he earns himself a trip to the line. We'll step away with 11:30 remaining in the second half. Siena and Canisius fighting for the right to take on top-seeded Iona.
Personal attention I needed. I had a lot of options when I graduated, and as far as I'm concerned, this is my dream job.
Ryder prepared me for my NBA career, and I also got the education that I need for life after basketball.
I had 6 teaching internships while I was at Ryder, and right after graduation, I started a career that I love.
It's knowing that you will always compete against the best while making you become the best that you can be. It's about joining a family with a storied history where athletics and academics are held to the highest of standards. It's about creating the future leaders of tomorrow, all with the focus on one goal: graduation. It's the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
44 for Siena. Siena trailing Canisius 46-44. We're thinking about the Barron family. We saw Jim Barron, the head coach, longtime Division I head coach, and his son has been named the Conference Player of the Year. And we go over to head coach Barron with Mitch Monaguro.
Jimmy, the game's a war. You're rebounding well. You're shooting well. What do you want to see the last 10 minutes?
Well, the second half, we started to rebound the ball. They out-rebounded us by 1 the first half, and we got to continue to defend and rebound so we can attack the bucket. And again, we got to step up and defend and rebound. That's going to be important.
Transition offense. You'd probably like to see a few more transition baskets.
Yeah, no question. We got to get it inside a little bit more because Manhurts is just a man. I mean, he's very physical, very aggressive inside.
Good luck, Jim.
All right, thanks, Mitch.
And there's a look at father and sons. Jim in the middle from his playing days back in the 1970s. And then he coached both of his sons at Rhode Island. Jimmy for the 4 years and then Billy for Really just the second semester of Billy's sophomore year. Billy transferred from Virginia to URI. Then Coach Barron was fired at the end of that season 2 years ago. Jim and Billy shared that firing very personally. They sat in their car together Sunday morning. They remember it like it was yesterday and cried over what was coming up as a huge change. He'd been there for the better part of a decade, and they were happy to land on their feet about a month later at Canisius together once again.
It's worked out well for both of them, and it's worked out great for Canisius. For Canisius to bounce back, win back-to-back 20-win seasons after winning just 5 games the year before they got there. And so a terrific hire, and the best recruiting job that Jim did was making sure that Billy came with him.
You could understand why, regardless of the coach who went into Rhode Island to replace his father, how somebody might not want to stay there. Perez jumped the passing lane. Can Barron get it back to him? He does, but Perez will pull it back out.
And Siena's gotten a little sloppy with the basketball. Did a great job in the first 15 minutes of the game and not turning it over, and they've turned it over here now.
Perez couldn't get the roll. Heath tied up by Bisping. And it looks like double technical fouls have been called. Certainly Bisping got one.
And I think Valente got the other.
So Long gets a personal foul, his third and the team's 7th.
And the officials are going to go to the monitor and make sure that there was no physical contact as well. At least I think that's what they're going for.
So Bob Adams discussing with Ken Clark and Gary Pacino their plan of attack here.
And the game's been physical, and the officials have done a good job of letting them play through that. They've been consistent both ways.
You know, we talk about the officials calling it one way or another. Is that something that you think, Rob, they ever verbalize amongst themselves before the game or during the game, or it's just a feel for those 3 guys as it develops?
I think it's as it develops. I mean, they always meet before the game and go through how the game's going to be officiated and that kind of stuff. So it may have started then, but then as the game gets going on, I think it's as much of a feel with it.
And coaches primarily are just looking for a consistent whistle for 40 minutes. They can deal with whether it's more physical, less physical, but as long as it's consistent throughout the course of the game, for the most part, coaches are going to be okay with that.
Yep. Unless one team gets a benefit from a more physical or less physical whistle. You know, and certainly teams are built differently. So look at the foul, and then they hold on to the ball. And I'm not sure how Bisping picked up a technical foul there.
And I'm not certain, based on that replay, did anything rise to the level of a technical foul. I'm not sure.
I think what they wanted to make sure is there was not an off-arm, non-basketball contact above the shoulders by Jordan Heath. But I didn't think it looked like it.
Didn't look like it there, but they've got some different replays that we're not able to see. Marquise Wright wasn't happy, jumping in there and yelling at his teammate. And again, the officials have access to a replay system that we're not able to show you, so they're seeing some other angles that may shed more light. Here's the up top look for you.
And see both guys shed their arms there, but again, when you're in a jump ball situation, you're pulling away, your arms are pulling and going in both directions.
Yeah, I don't think
so. And then I love the use of replay, but I also think it's got to have a timing mechanism with it. You know, go look at it. You don't see something, move on. Again, here's a jump ball. You're trying to pull it away. Nothing there.
And I get that the officials want to make sure they get it right because they're going to be second-guessed and criticized no matter what they do.
But we've got a game that's had great flow, lead changes back and forth. Like, you know, it's been physical both ways, and you got to go to the monitor. That's the rule. But get there, get out, get playing.
So now Bob Adams discussing with the two head coaches what they have determined based on the replay. Well, both sides seem satisfied, and Bob Adams is going to come over and share with us and tell Coach Kennedy what the determination is. I think our audience probably caught part of that, but why don't you fill us in?
Well, yeah, what Bob Adams said is he thought that there may have been a punch thrown. When they looked at it, wasn't there, so no technical fouls, just the foul that they had called on that. And so now Heath to the line to shoot it. So they went to the monitor, they got it right. May have taken a couple of seconds extra than you wanted, but the bottom line is they got it right.
Absolutely.
Piece of officiating.
Absolutely. So Josiah Heath, the brother of Jordan Heath, makes the first foul shot on the personal foul against Levon Long. Again, that was his third. Long stays in the ball game. That's Emo Silas heading out. Now a 6-point Canisius lead. That is the largest lead of the game for Canisius. The Saints led in the first half as well by 6. This is a 9-0 Golden Griffins run.
You get the idea, if one of these two teams gets a little separation, that may be the game. We've gone back and forth so much. Important possession right here for both teams.
At this end of the floor, haven't gotten much from Rob Poole in the second half. He is Siena's lead scorer. Went for 33 against Canisius the last time they met.
And Perez doing a terrific job defensively, locking down on him.
Bad pass by Lewis, taken away by Wright. Himes, wide open look. That's a huge sequence for Siena.
Their offense is struggling. Where do they get points? Well, they get points in transition by coming up with the steal.
And another turnover forced by that Siena pressure defense.
Yeah, the Saints aren't built to necessarily be great in the half-court offense, where Jimmy Patso's team gets a lot of their run-outs and is in with their full-court pressure. When they can get in transition, that's when they can score. Here's the end of a transition play. Nice ball fake by Himes to get rid of the first defender, and then hits a big three-point shot.
And Jimmy Patsos just calmly says, guys, let's keep playing defense.
Yep, up into the 55, which is their full-court pressure.
Midpoint of the second half. Long, nice looking shot. Back to a one-point game.
Yeah, lefties are hard to guard in the post.
Lewis picks up his dribble, didn't realize Wright was there. Nice job to keep possession. Barron pulls the trigger. Saints can take the lead. Lewis, the reach-in foul.
Well, the Saints now starting to get some life because they're getting in transition, picking up the pace, creating some offense with their defense. They've been stuck. They haven't been able to execute in the half court, but when they've been able to get in the full court, things have gone much better for the Saints.
Rob, you talked a moment ago about how left-handers are tough to defend in the post. Why is that as opposed to a right-hander?
Well, you're used to going up and challenging a guy, turning over his left shoulder to his right hand, and they catch you off guard.
Well, Manhurst defended him a little better there. At least the official says so, that it's a charge against Long, and that is his fourth personal.
Long is good off the bounce, but Manhurst holds his ground. Especially nowadays, 9 times out of 10, that's a block because he's still moving.
I don't think Coach Boeheim would have liked that call.
Yeah, no. He might have lost his jacket. Oh, yeah, that happened, right? Especially the way it's been called now this year with the change of the block charge rule. 9 times out of 10, it's been a block.
Canisius has to burn a timeout from the bench. to avoid what would have been another turnover. We'll step away with 9:13 on the clock. Canisius 50, Siena 49 for a spot in the MAAC semifinals.
Well, look what the wind blew. Putting the team back together. We need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man, man. Oh, baby.
The right education can inspire you to do anything. Challenge yourself. Prepare for success. This is your moment to create, explore, discover, matter to each other and to the world. Be inspired to do anything at Monmouth University, where leaders look forward.
And now my journey across the country's brought me to the lovely city of Boston. Cheers. And seeing as it's such a historic city, I'm sure they'll appreciate that Geico's been saving people money for over 75 years. Oh dear. I've dropped my tea into the Boston Harbour. I guess this party's over.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, look what the wind blew. Putting the team back together. We need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man, man. Oh, baby.
Well, perhaps Siena's doing a better job defending the three-point line here in the second half, Rob. The Griffs had 8 made threes in the first half. So far here in the second, only 1.
That's a big part of Jimmy Barron's team's offense. Moving the basketball, getting some open looks for 3. Haven't gotten a whole lot of open looks, although last time down, Billy Barron got one off a broken play.
Canisius left with 3 turnovers after, or rather timeouts, after having burned a timeout to avoid a turnover. Tough shot by Barron. Manhertz rips it away, and a lot of contact again, draws the foul against Bisping.
Well, when Jim Barron was talking to Mitch Bonagore, he was talking about how important it was to get after it on the glass. He talked about how Manhertz is a man. Well, he is, but I'll tell you what, he's done a good job getting involved on the offensive glass as well here in this second half. Good energy from Jordan Heath today.
First foul on Bisping, and the 9th against Siena here in the half. Only 2 team fouls called against Canisius so far through the first 11 minutes of this second half. Wright, Himes, Poole, Bisping, and Oliver out there for Siena. Jordan Heath, Manhertz, Rainey, Perez, and Barron out there for the Griffs. And Rainey's going to be called for the foul. I think the fans
they knew it was 9-2 as well, right? They heard you.
They heard me. So just the 3rd team foul against the Griffs here in the second half. 2nd personal against Rainey. Oliver gets a nice screen from Bisping.
And you see how he got his legs into that shot, almost exaggerated that he got himself deep knee bend, able to make sure he didn't leave it short.
Well, his coach calls him Hollywood. He's from Inglewood, California, and that was a primetime shot to tie the game again. Rainey turns it over.
An unforced turnover right there. He had plenty of time. Perez coming off the back screen was open. Just a bad pass.
And Perez, who was the man he was trying to find, just looks up and says, slow down, hold on. Trying to tell his young teammate to take it easy. Foul off the ball. Going to go against Jordan Heath. And again, those Siena fans keeping track of the scoreboard. Team fouls, happy about that one. Be honest. Do you think the officials
know it's 9-2 in favor of one team or another? Yeah, because the coach is telling them about 100 times over on the sideline. They know.
Oliver this time gives to Bisping. That's a two-point shot.
Well, he's hit 2 deep twos with the foot on the line and has knocked down a 3 as well. So a guy not known for his ability to stretch it quite that far. He's got great touch to about 15, but he's been stretching it out to 20 today.
And Bisping's within 2 of his career high, now with 18 points to lead the Saints, who have reclaimed the lead.
Well, Manhurts had an isolation inside as he had Bisping on his back.
Barron. Wow. Himes out to Marquise Wright. Going to be an easy 2. Jimmy Pensos looks like he's curling. Just got to get him a broom and a sheet of ice.
Oh, my.
Well, I'll tell you what. The combination of the small Siena backcourt has made a big difference in tandem today, Wright and Himes.
Well, it's their speed and quickness. It's bothered Billy Barron at times getting underneath them. And it was the quickness that was able to track down the long rebound there. And how about the presence of mind of Himes to not put the ball to the floor? By the time he got there, he just put it ahead for the open layup.
Well, Siena was teetering on the brink perhaps about 5 minutes ago. Yeah. The lead for Canisius was up to 6. The Griffs got the ball, but turned it over, and Siena has bounced back in very short order to now lead by 4. That's a 10-point swing in very short order.
Yep, and Siena was able to not only come up with the steal, but they backed it up with the 3 on the ball fake and escape dribble by Himes.
And Siena's not been a team known for its perimeter shooting this year, except for Rob Poole for the most part. And they have been the ones knocking down the outside shots in the second half. Fans use the hashtag MAAC14 when tweeting about the 2014 MAAC Basketball Championships to join the conversation.
No, Doug, you talk about it. This is a team not known for their three-point shooting, just 4.3 threes per game. That's in the bottom 10 in the country, dead last in the MAAC.
Barron being chased by 2 to make sure they get the ball out of his hands.
Well, that double has been effective because it's neutralized how many times Billy Barron has had the basketball in his hands in a good scoring position.
It's been nearly 6 minutes since Canisius scored a field goal until that.
Well, Perez was able to back his defender in, but we talked about the energy that Heath has brought. He has been springy and getting after it here this afternoon.
11 points now for the 6'10 senior out of Irondequoit High School in Rochester. Bisping. Now Canisius with a chance to retie it. And Barron will get that opportunity at the free throw line. Barron comes away limping just a bit. I like that call. Bisping was not set when Barron was already in his upward motion. Again, the rules changed this year. It's not when the offensive player leaves the floor. It's when he begins his upward motion. Barron at the line with a chance to tie it when we come back. The 2014 MAAC Basketball Championship is brought to you by Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. And by Anaconda Sports. Home of the Rock is proud to sponsor the MAAC. Back in Springfield, Massachusetts on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. About, 53 hours from now or thereabouts, somebody will be cutting down the nets here inside the Mass Mutual Center with a berth secured in the NCAA tournament. This is the 4-5 game, and Canisius' Billy Barron, the conference player of the year, will be shooting free throws with a chance to tie. You see, he's well below his season average, but with him, Rob, that can change in an awful hurry.
Yeah, because he can string them together. Can beat you from deep. And each of the last 2 games, though, each team has put a smaller guard on him, and it certainly has bothered Billy Barron at times. And you're right, the quickness of Marquise Wright as well as Evan Himes is one of the keys to keeping Billy Barron down so far.
True to form, he knocks down both foul shots, tied at 56. Wright, Himes, Oliver, Poole, and Bisping for the Saints in gold. Jordan Heath, Perez, Manhertz, Barron, and Lewis in white for the Griffs. Ten to shoot. Rob Poole. And Manhertz continues to control the glass.
And he got a good look. When he comes out to set the high ball screen, you know it's going to be pick and pop. You can't get sucked into the lane. Got to drift out to the three-point line and challenge that shot.
Perez backing down on Himes. Bisping does a nice job on the double team, but there's Heath, who's blocked again. Shot clock still winding down. Heath left alone. And there's Wright for the board.
Now that was a lot going on in that possession. Canisius had a great look at the end of it from a terrific three-point shooter in Heath.
Himes uses the screen and a foul against Lewis. A little late to get to the spot, and he picks up the personal.
And as a guard, especially when you've got great quickness, anytime you've got the high ball screen, you've got to be searching for that defender, especially the way the game of college basketball is now whistled this whole year with the freedom of movement. And that time Himes was able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, nobody does it better in this league than Billy Barron at the other end of the floor.
Yeah, you get yourself in a high ball screen, and if you've got to step on the guy that comes out to hedge, you got to go find contact. Put pressure on the officials to blow the whistle.
Bisping. Whistle before the shot, and he's called for traveling. So the Griffs get it back with a chance again to retake the lead.
Right back up into their full court pressure. You see 2 guys trying to make sure it doesn't get into Barron's hands there.
But then it's 4 on 3, and this time Canisius with Perez able to make the Saints pay.
You got to be careful if you bail out and sell out to just take Billy Barron away. You make things a little bit too easy for the likes of Perez.
Long. That could have been his 5th foul. Instead, it's a block against Heath.
And Doug, I always like when a team's pressuring you, you got to make them pay for that pressure defense. Nice step across and the creative English on the basketball for the finish by Perez. You know, he could have just backed it out. You got to make them pay for coming up and pressing, because if you back it out, now all of a sudden, if you're the team pressing, stay with it the whole time.
Levon Long is a 72% foul shooter. That, by the way, was the 6th team foul against Canisius. So the fouls are evening out a bit here in the second half. And not that they need to be even. I mean, I think coaches and fans can lose sight of the fact that maybe the officials are calling the game properly. Maybe Siena was fouling way more than Canisius was. Heaven forbid.
Yes.
Things aren't equitable.
I agree 100%. I love when the official says, you know, coach says it's 9-2. Yeah, because you fouled 9 times. They fouled 2 times.
Yep.
And certainly Siena's a team that fouls a lot. They're aggressive defensively. They reach. That's been their MO all season long.
No double team this time. Poole again tries to shoot the gap. He was the last to touch, so the Griffs will keep possession. Nice little pick and roll. Silas the block, but Manhertz just keeps coming.
Yeah, just keeps coming at you. He's one of those seniors who doesn't want his season to end. And as you mentioned, they're going to play in postseason no matter what they do in this tournament. But he wants his senior season to end with a MAAC championship and an appearance in the NCAA tournament.
Rob Poole for three. Siena back up by 1.
He moves so well without the basketball and uses his teammates' screens to find open looks.
Barron.
Well, that's just great strength not to throw that one away.
Lewis. Fight for the ball, and it's Manhertz who comes away with it once again. And Emo Silas picks up the personal foul.
As coach called him a man a couple of minutes ago. It is big boy pants inside coming down the stretch. A terrific ball game. Who's going to execute late?
Well, look what the wind blew. Putting the team back together. We need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man, man. Oh, baby.
NCAA March Madness is coming to Buffalo. Experience it live.
Oh, brings it home.
As 8 of the top collegiate teams compete for a shot at the NCAA Sweet 16. Don't miss the buzzer beaters. As Cinderellas crash the party at the 2014 NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship. March 20th and 22nd at the First Niagara Center in Buffalo. Affordable tickets now available. Visit ncaa.com/MBB tickets. NCAA March Madness is coming to Buffalo. Experience it live.
Oh, brings it home.
As 8 of the top collegiate teams compete for a shot at the NCAA Sweet 16. Don't miss the buzzer beaters. As Cinderellas crash the party at the 2014 NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship. March 20th and 22nd at the First Niagara Center in Buffalo. Affordable tickets now available. Visit ncaa.com/MBB tickets.
Well, look what the wind blew. Putting the team back together. We need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man, man. Oh, baby.
Those are the Rally Nuns, the so-called Rally Nuns, who are Siena season ticket holders, and they've made the drive along the Mass Pike to get from Albany to Springfield to root on their Saints. They truly are used as part of the marketing for Siena basketball. I'm not kidding you.
And why not?
Why not? Siena College is a proud Catholic institution, just like the rest of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Hey, the winner of this ball game will get to take on the top-seeded Iona Gales tomorrow afternoon, 4:30 here on ESPN 3. And oh, by the way, the Gales look like a well-oiled machine in their quarterfinal victory over Rider today, Rob.
Yeah, their efficiency on offense is really fun to watch.
Manhertz reties the ball game.
And he's at the foul line because of another opportunity on the offensive glass. 11 offensive rebounds here in the second half for the Griffs. If they're able to come away with the win, that's the stat that Jim Barron's going to be able to point to. The effort on the offensive glass here in the second half, led by Manhertz and Jordan Heath.
Meanwhile, Siena has made 5 3-point shots in the second half when they never make 5 in an entire ball game. And conversely, Canisius has only made 1 3-pointer here in the second half.
Canisius back into the zone. Played a lot more zone in the first half than they have here in the second half.
Only 7 to shoot. Tough pass. Long couldn't handle it. Siena never got a good, comfortable look in that offensive set.
Right, because of the changing defense. They had attacked against the man-to-man for a while, and the change of defense paid dividends. And there's paying off the dividend with a big three.
Well, you cannot go behind the screen on Billy Barron no matter where you are on the court.
And no matter what the situation is in the game. First play, last play, doesn't matter.
That's 15 points now for Barron to lead the Griffs. 13 for Perez. And 11 for Jordan Heath, who now guards Evan Hines.
Somebody's going to have to make a shot against this zone.
And it's Brett Bisping. Siena timeout.
Now they were struggling attacking it. A little different look. They saw 2-3 throughout most of the first half. Little 3-2 zone each of the last 2 possessions. Canisius again with a good defensive set. Got the shot clock all the way down into single digits. But Bisping continues his career night.
And this is the 3rd time in his career that Brett Bisping has gotten to 20 points. He has matched his career high. As you take a look at Billy Barron, you got Billy Barron and Brett Bisping going back and forth.
Back to back.
Back to back. So what's going on in that Canisius huddle right there with the Griffs up 65-63?
Well, one, you got to make sure that you're taking care of the basketball. You expect Siena to be up into full court pressure. And then it's just about, hey, look, we got to execute, get good shots. We got to be active defensively. And then we got to finish off possessions by rebounding the basketball. Something they've done much better here in the second half.
Jim Barron, a 4-time Coach of the Year in the Atlantic 10 Conference. And he has led Canisius to 20-win seasons in both of his years in charge of the Golden Griffins. Griffs fortunate to keep possession. Perez with a tough shot.
Yeah, with contact. And when you get bumped, you got to throw it on the glass, much like he did. Yeah, they got away with one there. Nearly turned it over in the backcourt. Turned into a terrific finish by Perez at the other end.
Under 2 minutes in regulation.
Well, the 3-2 zone has taken away the high post. So Siena's got to find someplace else to go to get paint touches against this zone.
Well, Bisping was that answer on the last possession. Here goes Long. Nice job to draw 2 defenders, and that left Bisping free to go to the rim. So that is a new career high with 22 for Bisping. 32nd timeout. And time now to look at our Pepsi Max Slam of the game. And for that, we turn to Jordan Heath of the Griffs.
And that was a big bucket because they were struggling offensively. Hadn't scored a bucket in about 4 or 5 minutes. He's had good energy right from the start of the game when he stepped out, hit a couple of threes, was challenging, blocking shots at the rim. Guys showing you that they're more than just Billy Barron. Certainly he gets a ton of attention, well deserved. But Zach Lewis has had a fine freshman year. Chris Perez, Jordan Heath, and Chris Manhurst. They don't have the greatest depth in the world, but certainly it's much more than just a one-man show.
Yeah, this senior backcourt of Barron and Perez, along with the freshman Zach Lewis, is really tough to stop. And Perez, I think, can get lost in the shuffle as well, but he's a terrific secondary option. Along with Barron, and he's done a nice job as defense is key on his teammate to fill that void.
And 8th straight game he's been in double figures, so they've seen it a lot. Perez now up to 13 points, including that last tough finish off the glass, their last field goal.
1:35 to go in regulation. 67-65, Canisius with the lead in the basketball. They triple team Perez, and now Billy Barron has the basketball.
And now they'll go back straight man. Expect the ball in Barron's hands. Doug, not necessarily to take the shot, but to make the play.
Oh, Poole almost had himself a steal. Now with 10 to shoot, they reload. Barron to Manhurst. Nice job to get around Bisping.
Good finish with the left. Late in the shot clock, you got to be able to execute. Robbie Poole took the wrong angle on that pass that was thrown cross court. Take the right angle, he's got a layup at the other end.
Poole stepped out of bounds. if you're Siena defensively, you just play this possession out. Assuming Canisius gets the ball in and gets it into the front court, you just play it out.
Well, down by 4. Yeah. Unless you can. Here's the thing. If the ball's in Billy Barron's hands, don't foul him.
Right.
Right. So it depends where the basketball goes. If it goes over to somebody else, I'd go ahead with the clock right here. I don't think if you play it straight through that 12 seconds is enough to make up a 4-point deficit. Got to trap, get it out of his hands, and then on the rotation, I'd go foul whoever ends up with the basketball.
Well, the only poor foul shooter who might be out there is Jordan Heath. He's at 48%. Pretty much the rest of the team is in the 70s. And then you've got Barron at 88%.
Yeah, so if he's on the floor, he's anywhere near the basketball, that's the guy you got to be fouling and sending to the line.
There's Rob Poole coming back out of the floor, and Billy Barron. It's been a tremendous matchup, as anticipated here, between the Griffs and the Saints. Tough spot standing right in front of the Siena bench for Chris Perez. He gets it into Heath, and they didn't take the chance to foul Heath. Still going for the steal. Now Barron's got the ball.
Not the guy to foul right there.
Manhurts back outside to Lewis to Barron.
Now you got to be careful.
Patsos is saying from the sideline, do not foul Barron. So they're going to play it out now with 12, 11, 10 to shoot. Here goes Barron, right to the rim. It's a 6-point Canisius lead as they handled that possession perfectly.
Well, you're right, Doug, because they worked this shot clock down. You put the ball in the player of the year's hands. And as you said, racing right to the rim. And it looks like racing right to the semifinal matchup against the Iona Gales.
Somebody got a hand on that ball as he was driving up to the basket, strong enough to be able to get up there and finish. Now 17 points, as you see. And now Siena, with 16 seconds to play, down 6, is going to have to make some magic happen. This matches the largest lead of the ball game for either side.
And the Saints have been involved in so many close games, especially late in the season. They've had a couple that they've stolen. They had one stolen from them on the road up at Marist. They're going to need a miracle to pull this one out. Where are those rally nuns? They need them.
Now Siena has won its last 4 games coming into the tournament to finish 11-9 in league play. They got the number 5 seed when just 2-3 weeks ago Coach Patsos publicly said there's no way they're going to get the 5 seed in the bye. And the Rally Nuns, I'd hate to think they're already packing up their belongings.
Uh-oh, that's a bad sign.
Well, they haven't headed for the exits just yet. Keep hope alive, ladies. So Long, Wright, Bisping, Poole, and Oliver, the 5 on the floor for the Saints.
And if you're the Saints, you need a quick bucket, ideally a 3.
Wright gives to Poole. Good look, but deep. Canisius able to save it. And of course the ball's in the hands of Barron. They call a tie-up. And so Siena catches a break and will get the ball back on the alternate possession arrow.
They got a great look from their best 3-point shooter in Poole. That one was halfway down, hit the back of the rim, nothing there.
Inbound, knocked away. This is going to zap any opportunity for the Saints to get a miracle, and that's the ball game. Jim Barron's Canisius Golden Griffins knock off the Siena Saints 71-65. So we are in for a treat in the semis. The Griffs will take on the Iona Gales.
And they split their 2 regular season matchups. Thought this would be a terrific game coming in, and certainly lived up to that. Seesaw battle back and forth until Canisius made a couple of big plays, and Billy Barron, who was kept down throughout much of the game as far as scoring the basketball, stepped up with a couple of big plays late.
Siena took its last lead on a pool 3 with under 4 minutes to go. But the Griffs had too many answers over the final 3 minutes, and they win 71-65. This is the first time Canisius has reached the MAAC semifinals since 2002. And with that, they will take on the regular season champs from Iona. The last time Canisius got this far, Mike McDonald was the head coach. And it was that wild Hadari Mallory shot to upset Ryder and get into the semifinal round. Well, the bus of Canisius students that made the trip from Buffalo, maybe they're going to stay at least another day. At this point, we send it over to Mitch Bonaguro with the winning head coach, Jim Barron.
Jimmy, great win. Beat a really good team. What was the difference? Well, the difference was our defensive rebounding. First time we got to this point now, I think, since 1992. So this is huge for our program and for these players. But we really defended, we rebounded, and we executed the way we needed to do it. The other thing you did well, Jimmy, out of the 2 timeouts late, you went to the zone. I thought that got them out of sync. Yeah, we just, we do that, and I think that's good for us because it makes them get off, and then we rebounded. And Manhurst, what a animal, I mean, physically strong. Then Billy hit some big-time shots down the stretch, and we need that. You want to win these games, your players got to step up and do it. And, Billy's player of the year, Manhurst, is one of our senior captains. They did a great job. Congratulations. Okay, good luck tomorrow, Jimmy. All right, thanks, Mitch. Chris, congratulations. Great game. You really got on the glass. You made some great plays. You're a senior. You've seen the program, really progress, and now you got a shot at taking out the #1 seed. How do you feel?
It feels good, but at the same time, we have 2 games left. There's nothing to smile about yet. We know what we have to do, and as seniors and as leaders, we have to step up and take on the challenge. Chris, as the game, down the stretch, you really got on the glass. Were there openings to the rim? How are you getting all the rebounds? Just being relentless, man. I started off the first half pretty bad. My teammates got in me a little bit in the locker room, and fortunately, it woke me up. Congratulations on a great win. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Billy, great win. Really tough game. You made some big plays down the stretch. What was the difference?
Just being aggressive. I don't think I was that aggressive. I know they're throwing doubles at me and all that stuff, but I really wasn't aggressive. My teammates really stepped up, and then I just made plays. That's what seniors got to do, is you got to be ready to make those plays. And thankfully, that 3 ball went down and then the layup. But the whole second half, my teammates made some great plays to keep us in the game, and they just trusted me to close it out. And thankfully, Chris Manners made a great layup there at the end. We gutted that one out, and we just got to keep moving, and keep moving tomorrow. Billy, the one thing that you do great is you do set your teammates up. That last play when you read the clock and you made the layup, that was really the difference. What did you know? You're such an instinctive player. You knew how much time was left in the clock? Yeah. In those situations, I want the ball. Thankfully, my teammates trust me with the ball. Late in games, you want to make those decisions, and all I had to do was be aggressive. I know they're a little tired towards the end, but Chris set a great screen. I was able to turn it down and make the layup. Good luck tomorrow against Iona. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks. Thank you to Coach Bonaguro. In the stat line, we saw our Pepsi Max player of the game, Billy Barron, 17 points, 6 assists, 5 steals as well.
And that huge 3 late, as well as that finish we just saw with the shot clock winding down to seal it.
And Manhurst had a double-double, 10 points, 11 rebounds. And as he said, his teammates got on him in the halftime locker room, and he certainly responded.
Well, he's a great leader. Only the second guy in Canisius history who's been a 3-time captain. And you can see why as Mitch is talking to him. And when his team needed it, he stepped up. 11 offensive rebounds there in the second half. That was the biggest stat for Canisius. If Siena was going to win, they were going to have to dominate the boards. They didn't do that.
Meanwhile, Barron was our Pepsi Max player of the game, but all 5 Canisius starters double figures.
And showing you again, they're more than just a one-man show.
No question about it. So Canisius survives and advances a very entertaining ball game between the Saints and the Golden Griffins, but it's Canisius that will advance to take on Iona tomorrow. For Rob Kennedy and our entire crew, we'd like to thank you for joining us as we are midway through our quarterfinal Saturday. Join us later tonight for our next MAAC Basketball Championship broadcast on ESPN3. Our coverage starts at 6:30 Eastern with the 3rd men's quarterfinal featuring 2nd-seeded Manhattan versus 7th-seeded St. Peter's. For Rob Kennedy, Mitch Bonaguro, and our entire crew, I'm Doug Sherman saying so long from Springfield, Massachusetts. The proceeding has been a presentation of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.